From the Dignity Health Studios at the Bakersfield, California, it's time to open up with real people, real talk about real stuff.
Everybody, to open up, I'm John Clark.
And I'm Tina Miller.
We're your favorite pair on the air. Glad to be here with you. And folks out in 18 countries around the world, welcome to our show. And I think you're going to learn a lot today about good health. And that's part of what this show is all about, to be an encouragement to people, both in their health and their social lives, spiritual lives, business lives.
Yes.
Just to be a source of encouragement.
Chris is going to roll a little clip for us about the show today, Greenfield Naturals.
Let's take a look at it.
So anyway, Don, let's welcome our business guest.
You bet.
This is Gary Greenfield of Greenfield Naturals. Welcome, Gary.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
And we understand this is your first time in Bakersfield.
Yes, it is.
So, isn't that wonderful? He's first time in Bakersfield, and we have him on Open Up.
Our show, so
welcome to Open Up.
Thank you very much.
You will love this city.
Yes, of course. Gary, tell us about these new concepts in reference to water conditioning.
Okay, sure. Well, in 2006, I was introduced to this whole concept of nature and the power of nature to heal by a young lady who was eating dinner with us, and she shared how her mother was healed of cancer by eating a raw food diet. And I had never heard of such a thing. It was completely foreign to me, and it just blew me away. And from that encounter, it set me on a quest that I've continued to be on, that resulted in starting a company, Greenfield Naturals, where what we do is we look at nature and we mimic principles that are just commonplace in nature that work to support all life for animals, plants, and people in the environment.
Okay.
And we're just looking at energy. We're looking at the invisible aspects of what gives us good health.
And the video that we saw just before introducing you, what was that about?
Okay, well, what you were seeing, there were various minerals and elements.
Okay.
And we were taking a picture of those elements with what is called an electrophotonic camera. And so what it was capturing are the invisible energies that we don't see, that we just take for granted. We don't realize what, what's going on around us. For instance, in the universe, you see the planets and the stars, and and they're shining. They're putting off energies. Well, that's the macro world of what's happening in the micro world, which is the very same thing, except it's inverse. In these, in atoms and the molecules that make up minerals and elements, they all emanate these energies, and that is what our cells actually pick up and use to function.
Isn't that interesting?
It really is. I just finished a book over my vacation called The End of Illness by Dr. David Agus, and he's down at USC. He's the head of a division called molecular biology, and that's exactly where he's drilling down to the molecular level of health. That sounds like exactly where you are. Tell us more about that.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, well, what happened, I was invited to a sales presentation for Kangen Water. And that's a machine that produces this alkaline water, and it uses electricity. And and it was pretty amazing, the presentation they put on. And when they were doing this at the time, I was studying natural phenomena, and I looked at that machine. I thought, we can't outdo nature. No matter what technology we've developed, it always mimics nature. And if we're not consciously mimicking nature, we're typically creating something that has certain qualities of nature in it, but it's going to be malformed, or it's going to result in some toxic side effects. For instance, all of the pharmaceuticals that we use today, all of them are based on natural herbs and plants, but because they want to get a patent on those, they change them to make them unique. What it does, it takes away from the natural power of those plants to heal. They still have those healing properties, but then because they've changed it and put man's technology in, it has they all have side effects now. Well, that's the way it is with all of our modern technologies. We're just mimicking nature. For instance, cellular technology, cellular communication with cell phones. That mimics cellular communication within our bodies, plants, and animals. It's the same thing. There's nothing new under the sun.
That's interesting. I'm going to be referring to this Dr. Agus because he said that's when cancer starts, when cells stop communicating together.
Wow.
Exactly.
One just goes off by itself and does its own thing.
And the reason why it does that is because there's interference. For instance, think about this. You can call somebody in China, right? And there's billions of cell phones in the world. One person is going to get that number because they're tuned into that frequency. Nobody else gets it, and you have a clear call all the way to China. Well, in the same way, our cells work the same way. They're all tuned into certain frequencies depending on what their functions are. And if there's interference with those frequencies, then they malfunction and it results in disease. So what we have today are all of these foods that have been malformed or changed with chemical inputs.
Yes.
We have we have all of these technologies that are putting out bad energy, AC electricity, radio waves, all of our modern technologies. Our drugs are doing the same thing. So consequently, all of this bad energy is putting out frequencies. It's interfering with cell function. That's why our health is continuing to decline. You know, we're continuing to see more and more disease at the same time that we're trying to, we're coming up with all these modern technologies, but they're not helping.
Yeah.
We've got to go back to nature. So that's what I've done. I've harnessed nature into cartridges and gizmos and stuff that can expose the body to these beneficial energies for enhanced health and productivity.
And so, I'm sorry.
Gary, let us see what you have here. You've brought some things with you.
Okay, well, this was one of the first products that I developed, and it contains water and minerals and elements, but within that water is information which is put into the water. Water is a biological computer. We mimic what water does in a computer, in the sense that what we do with a computer is we put information into the hard frame, right?
Yes.
And then so it receives information, stores information, and transmits information. This is exactly what water does. It receives information, holds information, and transmits information. And hopefully that information is good. But just like on the internet, it's a mixed bag.
Right.
So it's a conscious effort, and the way to ensure that we get good energy into the water, which I put into this cartridge, is that I consciously mimic nature. I look at nature and say, what frequencies, what energies does nature use to feed, clean, and protect the environment, people, plants, and animals?
And the phrase that jumped out at me from your little video there was capturing the invisible energies.
It's exactly what we're doing. So right now, this cartridge is putting off invisible natural energies that literally the body is picking up. And what we find is that people tell us that they're more peaceful. Why are they more peaceful? Why are they more at ease?
May I hold this, please?
Sure. And it's because their body's it's not hungry anymore for these natural energies. It's getting them, so it's more at peace.
How does this work?
Yeah.
It's all energetics. It's just it's like a free energy
but
product.
Does water flow through it from your faucet?
No.
Or?
That literally sits next to a water line. As the water is flowing by it, the water is picking up the information that's being transmitted, just as you saw in that video.
So there's no hookup?
No hookup,
it's just
nothing.
proximity.
It's just proximity, and that's what changes the water. Same thing with these bands. As a matter of fact, this one even matches SONSHYNE. And these bands do the same thing. They put out these energies. The bloodstream picks them up. What we get is enhanced, for instance, for athletes, enhanced strength, balance, and mental acuity. For individuals, we get reports of pain relief and sleep aid. And all it is simple. It's just simply mineral energies, as you saw in that video, that the body is picking up and sending throughout the whole body.
And how quickly does it work?
It's immediate.
It's immediate.
It starts immediate. It's kind of like a radiant. If you plug in a radiant heater, portable, it starts immediately, but it takes a while for it to absorb into the walls. And it's the same principle with this. It takes and then it will work over a period of months to clean out your pipes, and that's whether it's for people or that's whether it's for your home. It will clean out the calcium deposits in the pipe, so it acts like soft water, but it does it without taking out the minerals, which is our concept of soft water.
Wow.
Well, I want to go more into this end of illness and how you can do it at a natural level, a cellular level.
Yes.
So we're going to explore this further.
We have another video, and who is that, Chris? Oh, yes, of course. Let's see that. We're looking at another video of Greenfield Naturals. Thank you, Chris.
Well, once we got there, it's the freshest water. It's the best tasting water I've ever had. So, I don't know. I just highly recommend if you're interested in good, clean, pure water, it's a great way to go.
And here we sit in the second most productive agricultural county in America, in the world, for that matter.
Yes,
And now we're discovering in the break that this technology has agricultural uses.
Yes.
Tell us about that. This is truly astounding, if true.
Yes. Well, I've worked with farmers in India. They invited us over. They were very interested in this whole technology of structured water, and I helped them set up trials with various universities over there, and then the company I was working with also set up their own trials on their property that they have for growing. And while the other trials were beginning at the colleges, we did our own, and I went over there, helped them get started, and then came back a few months later for the harvest. And it was astounding. We had a 100% increase in harvest. I've got the pictures to show it. Not only that, but the difference in quality. For instance, with the radishes, when we have contrast, that's when we really show what this technology can do. And what we did, I tasted the radish that was done with conventional well water, and it tasted like a radish, but it was dry. It was dry and not that spicy and not very tasty. But the reason why I knew that is because then I tried one with the structured water, and it just blew me away. It just was bursting with flavor. It was moist and crunchy, and it was twice as big as the other one, and the leaves didn't have all the insect holes in them. So it was a.
On the website, I was looking at, listening to some of the farmers with their testimonials talking about just what you're saying. The insects were virtually none, and the growth of the produce, exciting. So, Gary, what is this little twister thing you have on the table here?
Well, this is a concept that we came up with that will fit anything from a half-inch pipe up to a 12-inch pipe.
Okay.
Depending, we just change the sizing of it.
Okay.
So it's a snap-on product. It doesn't even go in line. Although if we do have technologies that go in line as well that can double the energy input to the water, but this even by itself works just through energy transfer into the water.
Now, you've attracted the interest of some major mega corporations in agribusiness. Tell us about that.
Well, we've got some agricultural consultants that are aware of our products, and we're doing trials right now with those consultants. They want to make sure it works before they take it to the big farms, and so that's where. And we were 2 weeks into our trials. I just was out there yesterday visiting, looking at the fields where we had put the product, and we're seeing results. We were seeing an increased moisture in the soil, increased plant growth, and one of the tremendous benefits of the product is that we can reduce water usage up to 60%. And I say up to because on the Colorado High Plains, we put a unit into a pivot. And that farmer, and this was for alfalfa, and that farmer had to increase that pivot speed by twice the speed, and he reduced his nozzles by half, so it was even more than 60%. And he still got double the growth. Now, I know that sounds like, it's crazy, it couldn't happen, but I'm not saying it would happen everywhere, but with that particular trial, that's what we had. I was there, I saw the results, I've got it on camera, on video, the testimonials from those farmers as well.
Is that one of the ones that's on the website?
No, that one's not on the website because that's an inline product which we're now beginning to produce again, but it will be on there soon.
Wow, exciting. I love this,
It's
John.
so interesting, the convergence between this book I just read, The End of Illness by David Agus, and he said the dirty little secret about cancer research is really we have not made any significant progress since the 1950s. And we poison people hoping that it's going to help. And he said what we have to come back to, he said we've always kind of approached illness with the germ theory. There's an invader in our bodies, and so we identify what the body invader is, and then we develop some kind of vaccine or something to shoot it down. But he said that isn't the way cancer works. Cancer is what the body does to itself, and so he said we have to see the body as a whole system, and then. He quotes Plato, the part can't be well unless the whole is well. And that's what you're talking about, to see our whole bodies and our agricultural systems as systems that they all need to be healthy. The whole thing needs to be healthy before the part can be healthy.
Yes, and the best way to do that, it's really about energy. In a low-energy environment, disease sets in. The bugs come in, the pathogens come in. In a high-energy environment, that stuff disappears. We've seen that time and time again, whether it's for plants, animals, or people, or the environment. When you have good energy present, everything thrives. When that energy source is depleted, you have disease and death and breakdowns of systems begin to occur.
It's amazing, isn't it, how science is really coming to new insights, and it's coming from all directions, and it's pointing in the same direction.
Yes. And
so how much are these things? How do you get them? And
well, they're available on our website at greenfieldnaturals.com. And the pricing starts at actually for the mineral bracelets, they're just $80, and then from there everything goes up. But my vision is and has been to create products that are economical to operate, which means there's it's free energy essentially that are inexpensive but yet very effective. And I believe with those principles, that really reflects what happens in nature. That's how nature works. Nature is a very good conservator of energy. It knows how to use minimal amount of energy to get maximum output, and that's what we're doing.
Now, does this bracelet deplete itself? I mean, do you have to replace it?
No, it's just it's based on free energy in the sense that they're minerals that are always, as long as the mineral is present, it's going to emanate those frequencies, and that's there's science has proven that, and I've read this, of course, this technology was developed just through lots of investigation and research, looking at other scientists and what they've been doing in their studies and research projects, and also just by observing nature and contemplating how it works.
What was your personal background that brought you in this direction?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. But it was really just this. What sparked it was this woman's testimony to me about her mother being healed of cancer by a raw food diet. That's what put me on this quest. And all I can say is that I believe that God has given me this vision. God has guided me through this, and the products that I've developed, I believe, are by the inspiration of God. And even reading in Genesis, the first chapter, it talks about creation and how creation was made, and in that is the very base principles for what my products are based on, which is in the beginning there was matter and there was light. Okay. And matter and light is what makes up creation, and matter and light is what we put into this, or we put the matter in and the light just emits from it, but it's not just light you can see, it's the light that our bodies can see and feel and use too.
So the skeptics say it's too good to be true. What do you say to that?
Well, all I could say is try it. We offer a 1-year money-back guarantee, so if somebody doesn't have results within that year, they can send it back. I've had a few sent back, but I've sold hundreds of these units, and we always hear good things back from our customers.
I'm feeling pretty good already. I don't know if it's because you're talking about it or because
as if you need more energy, Tina.
Yes, Don, I certainly do. But you know what? No, seriously, I do feel a very nice. Like a peaceful feel. But you know what? There's a young lady sitting next to...
Pass that over, please. I found this man.
You did?
I found this man.
This is Sunshine
Hi,
EILEEN
everybody.
Mitchell, and we'll be hearing more about her after the break. But talk to us.
I've ended up buying 24 of these. They keep, either I'm giving them away or they're stolen from me. Okay, they just keep missing. I end up there's different ways we use these throughout our homes. And on the website, it will show you. You can go through the homes and how to use it. I've even put it in the pools. So people are actually getting healed when they come swimming in my pool. People will stay in a pool normally maybe 20, 30 minutes. People can stay in the pool for 2 to 3 hours with these in it, and they don't know why. I do. They're getting energized. They're getting healed. I started sleeping with this, and it was so peaceful because he's saying the animals get peace. I started sleeping with this, and I could sleep throughout the night rather than getting up, going through that midlife crisis. My kids started sleeping with these. So I have 8 children. So I have 5 at home. I've given out to my children to put by their water filter. We put it in our refrigerator because it actually, I've tested it, taken a tomato, sat it out on the counter. How long do tomatoes last? This will actually extend the lifespan of the fruit and vegetables in the refrigerator. We put it out in the environment because of the positive ionizations.
You bet. Great folks at Aveda Weed.
Absolutely.
Be loyal, buy local.
Yes,
and
yes.
they'll keep your property looking great, and they'll show you how to do that too.
We have a quick little demonstration here that Gary is going to perform. So, Gary?
Okay, what I'm going to do is muscle test to show what the energies of a cell phone does to the body. And first we'll just check to see if our subject is strong or not. So I'll have you put your arm out. I'm going to press down with 2 fingers. Okay, and you resist. 1, 2, 3, resist. Okay, now pick up the phone with your left hand, and let's do that. Let's do that again. Okay, 1, 2, 3, resist. Notice the difference? Okay, now we'll just put. Okay, keep that on. Okay,
Stay by
just
the
put
mic.
a mineral wrap on his arm with the cell phone there still. Now we'll try that again. Okay, 1, 2, 3, resist. Notice the difference?
Oh my gosh, that is it. Wow.
Thank you, subject, Carlin.
And if I keep it on, I'll talk about it at the end of it.
Okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
Gary, tell us what just happened here.
Okay. Well, what we're showing is that first of all, a cell phone de-energizes cell function. It interferes with cell function. So it's not good to, if you're going to have your cell phone, everybody has one, of course, try to keep it away from your body as much as possible. When you talk on it, try to keep it away from your body. But if you are going to do it, then get protection. And what happens with the mineral wrap, it just simply negates that toxic energy. As you saw, he went weak as could be. He was a strong guy. I couldn't push his arm down before. When he took that cell phone up, he went down like nothing. It was just, and this works. I've never seen it not work with anybody. And then what we did, of course, we put the mineral wrap on his wrist, and then his body started to pick up these beneficial energies, and it gave him, and it allowed his body to function and to negate the toxic energies of the cell phone. So it's a way for it's a protection against the harmful effects of cell phone.
But we can do that with water. If he takes your water, all these different water bottles that we were buying, it's actually weakening us. And so when we put this by the water that we're drinking, even if it's a water bottle.
I can show another example with that water bottle if you can bring that over here.
Now he's wearing that wristband.
Sunshine, what else did you want to say to the viewers about? You mentioned something about women, something you wanted women to know.
There's something in the Bible. It was the women at the well. The woman at the well. She went and told the whole city, and the city heard the good news. And it's like, women, you're watching this. We have a mouth. We have husbands that have farmland. We have families. We have grandchildren. You can buy these and try these out. Put them in the bed when you sleep. Put them in the car. I have an electric car. All that electricity is going to my body. I put that in there. It literally, I can change. I feel a difference. People that are on antidepressants, they're depressed. Drink the water. Put that by the water. Sleep with it. You're going to start noticing the medicines changing. You're not going to need the medicines like you used to. But really, it's the water you want to get into the body because we're 70% water. So it's changing the structure of our water within our bodies.
Thank you. Okay.
I can do one more demonstration that shows how
Okay.
this works next to the water.
Okay.
We'll first test to see how energizing this water is, and we'll do the same muscle test we did before. So go ahead and hold that in your left arm. Let's go ahead and take this off. Okay. Go ahead and put your arm out. 1, 2, 3, resist. Okay. Now, we'll just go like this. And that would simulate having this next to the water line with the water flowing by it. Okay, now do that again. 1, 2, 3, resist.
Why do I have so much more energy?
Your cells are picking up the energy in that water.
Just that fast.
That fast. It happens immediately.
Okay. Thank you so much, Gary. Sunshine, talk to us.
When he was doing that, the farms, the animals, he has so many testimonies of what's happening with the animals. I have a husky. I had to drive it all the way up to Sacramento. I'm like, what am I going to do with this baby husky? And I remembered, he said the farmland. I stuck that in there with the cage. Peace the whole way up. It's just amazing. So, Gary, why don't you tell people how they can put it on their electrical?
Yeah, the energies work, and they'll piggyback any electrical flow, any water flow at all, any flow of any kind. And what they'll do, for instance, you can set this next to the electrical panel, and of course you have electron flow through
To a house.
But that's toxic. And I can show how that weakens the body too, because it's not natural energy. But we can put this next to the electrical panel, and as those electrons are flowing by it, it literally will suck up these energies like a magnet, and then pass them throughout the entire home, through the lights, through the appliances, and so then it's a power generation source to fill the environment up with these beneficial energies, so you have more natural energies in your home, which in turn leads to a more tranquil environment.
Yes. What's the shelf life of this item again? Does it have a shelf life?
According to the way nature works, the soil, we don't replace the soil. I mean, there was an experiment done by Van Holcomb in the late 1700s where he took a pot of soil and grew a tree in it from a seed, and then after 5 years, he removed the tree, which had grown to 160 pounds, it had grown into a tree. But then he weighed the soil to see how much the soil weighed, and the soil weight had changed by 2 ounces over a period of 5 years. So where did that tree get all that? It's not like he depleted the soil, but he was watering that plant, but he was watering it with distilled water or rainwater, which meant there were no minerals in it. So what that experiment taught me was that plant was picking up the information from the minerals. The material form is there to hold the information, just like a computer, just like our bodies. Our bodies are, they hold spirit, they hold energy. When that energy's gone, you're just a clump on the ground, And in the same way, a computer without the information is worthless. Well, but the purpose of that computer is to disseminate information. In the same way, the physical composite of minerals and elements and different compounds is there to hold the information that is then used by the life form. So that's what...
So the farmland, the animals are actually producing and laying more. You want to talk about that? More eggs, more puppies, more, just like the fruits and animals. I mean...
Well, for instance, one of the first experiments we did, trials that we did in India, was with chickens, with the poultry farm, and we had a control barn and then the barn with structured water. And the observations we saw was that the chickens that received the energized structured water were more peaceable. They weren't, and the other chickens were agitated. We had higher weight gain, and the coloration of the feathers with the structured water barn was white, whereas the coloration on the feathers of the other barn, they were mottled. It wasn't as clean a color, and we also see reduced mortality rate, which is a manifestation of a healthier chicken, healthier animals, and that's what we've seen across the board. Over the years that I've been doing this.
That's
with
from
farmers.
Drinking the water. So we want to give our kids the water. It's just...
Yes.
Well, Gary, we've got folks in 18 countries out there watching this, and they're probably going to want to know more about it and how to contact you. Why don't we put up your information right there? Gary Greenfield, and greenfieldnaturals.com. Greenfieldnaturals.com. I'm going to be going to your website and checking it out. Now, you said, Gary, this is your first time in Bakersfield. Where do you live?
Well, I spent most of my time since 1975 in North Idaho, and for the past couple of years I've been in Florida. That's where I grew up, and just recently I've been in California because I've determined this is where I believe the product's going to launch. I've been doing research for years in development, and we finally developed the product line to where I'm satisfied with. I've reached the vision that I was envisioning, the product that I was envisioning. And I think California is the best place to put it. One, we've got the worst drought, in modern history going on here.
Right.
And with our product, we can save farmers water, even if it's 10% for the cost of the product, which is very economical. It's worth it. But like I say, we've seen this water savings of up to 75%. And so it's for that reason alone, I believe the product has a very, can have a significant input.
Have you picked a city where you're going to be based?
I'm based in Salinas right now.
Salinas, all right.
Yeah, that's where my ag consultants are that I'm working with, and so we'll just go from there and hopefully spread throughout the state.
But he's open to Bakersfield, so we're here for Bakersfield.
Right, and I wanted to say you're here in Bakersfield, Sunshine.
Yes.
And Chris, do we have her information, her local information here on screen?
So
Chris,
anyway,
Sunshine.
we're excited.
Yeah.
Gary's here, and he's here for Bakersfield for those and for those farmers that want him to come out and get them
Chris,
started.
do you have Sunshine's information, please? There it is. Sunshine Eileen Mitchell, 661-345.
You know what? That's an old one. That is not mine.
Well,
number.
what is
661-378. 3408.
3408. Okay, my apologies. Wrong number. But if you'd like to get in touch with Sunshine Eileen Mitchell, in reference to the Greenfield products, she is here local here in Bakersfield, and you can contact the show Open Up, because you heard them first here on Open Up.
You bet.
And so we'll go to a break, and we'll come back and hear some beautiful angelic music, Don.
I can't wait. Let's go.